What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Crystal and this is Bond Book Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about my February wrap up. It's currently March and I forgot to film an intro, so I'm doing this as I edit, but I'm doing this vlog style again. If you're unfamiliar, this is how I'm going to be doing wrap ups from now on. I'll link my January wrap up so you can check it out. But pretty much I give you vlog style thoughts as I finish the book, and we are going to be doing that again in February. So yeah, check it out. This is my February thoughts on all the books that I read for February.
So I just finished For the Wolf, which is the book one in the Wilderwood series. This was obviously a continuation from a January read, and I was guesstimating that I was going to give it a 4-star, and I probably will stick with that. I think it's probably a 4-star read. I did really enjoy the story, as I've mentioned in last month's review, but I really am excited to read the next one from Youve's perspective, which is the sister. We've been left with like a very interesting epilogue at the end of the first one, which makes me very excited for the sequel. So I am excited to jump into that one. This book follows a character, pretty much there's two sisters, and the second daughter has been promised to the wolf, which is a monster that lives in the forest, and on her 20th birthday she must enter the woods as a sacrifice to the wolf to hopefully release the kings. And it turns out that the wolf is not a monster, but instead a man, and things unravel from there. I really loved the relationship between Red and the wolf, and it very much did give me like Beauty and the Beast vibes rather than Little Red Riding Hood retelling vibes. So if you're going into this expecting a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, you might be surprised. To me, it very much was like a Beauty and the Beast retelling type story. Yeah, so I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really enjoyed the world building in this. I very much felt like I could visualize everything that was happening. The forest was very unique. Yeah, it was just a really good time. The narrator for the audiobook is also fantastic, so if you do listen to it, I can vouch that the narrator is good in my eyes. So yeah, that was my thoughts on that. I had obviously had to finish it off this month, didn't get a chance to do it last month. So I am choosing to DNF You've Reached Sam. I've managed to make it to the 50% mark, and I'm just not caring enough to want to continue. I thought that I would absolutely love this book. I thought that it would break me, but I haven't shed a single tear. I don't find myself caring about where the story is going. It's just not what I'm in the mood for right now. The writing is not bad. The characters are not bad. I just personally am not feeling this book right now. I don't think I'm gonna soft DNF it because I probably will never bother to pick it back up. I think I'm gonna actually DNF it and give it to a friend of mine that I know will really love it. So unfortunately, my first DNF of the year.
So update on my next book, I finished Find Me by Ashley and Rostek last night, well this morning at 3 o'clock. So this update's a little later than that, obviously it's now 7 a.m. I have since started book 2, which is Save Me in the second series. This is not part of my February TBR, but I was left on such a cliffhanger I had to pick up book 2. I only read 2 chapters and then I'm gonna now put it down and pick up something else. But let me tell you about Find Me. So Find Me it's described as a reverse harem where our main character is in witness protection. The first book, there is only one spicy scene. There is not a lot of actual spice in the first book. The first book is heavily plot-based, and we are introduced to our four main brothers, which is Knox, Creed, Keelan, and Colt. And we are introduced to our main character and the trauma that she has suffered from her entire family being murdered, and the flashback she gets kind of shows you what happened that night and why she's in witness protection. I finished this book and I have like thoughts which I have tried to relay. I'm doing an actual vlog for this book, so I'm not going to give you too much thought about it in here because there's a dedicated vlog up here, but if that's a spoiler vlog, so if you want spoiler free, I'll try and give you something here, but that's my like full no hold back vlog about this book. But it is one of those caught me by surprise books. Neva from Reading Reneva recommended this to me, and myself and Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading decided to buddy read this with a couple of other people, and every single one of us finished book 1 and instantly picked up book 2 and ignored our entire TBR. So if that tells you anything about this story and how invested you get in the character and how much you want to know what's going on. But I can just tell you that it is not your typical dark romance. There is a lot of triggers, so definitely look those up, but it is very highly addictive and very much this first book is more about introduction of the characters and introduction of our main characters, like backstory and why she is, how she is, and where she has come from. Book 2 and book 3, I think, are going to lead into like the relationship and a bit more of the struggle she's got and learning to trust the brothers a bit more and tell them a bit more about her history. And then book 4 doesn't come out till August, so I really hope that book 3 doesn't leave me on a massive cliffhanger. But overall, I can recommend it. It was my first 5-star read of the year. Absolutely loved it. So much so that I picked up book 2 at 3 o'clock in the morning after finishing book 1 at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's the last book that I finished. So I have just finished Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. And I think I'm going to have to give it 4 stars for what it is. I think if I was rating it based on like what I actually like in a book, it would probably only get like 2 stars. But for what it is and what it would have been when I had read it in its time, it probably would have been a 4-star read.
So last night I listened to, the other day I finished listening to Daisy Jones and the Sixth, and I realized I didn't put my thoughts in here because it was a reread. But I realized that you guys don't know my thoughts because I read this before I started BookTube. So Daisy Jones and the Six, for those that don't know, is kind of like a band-inspired story that follows like the breakdown of a band. It's pretty much the general gist of it, but it's done in this really, really cool way. This is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's probably one of my favorite from her, and the audiobook is phenomenal. I re-listened to the audio and I did it in one day. Still 5 stars, still really loved it, and I highly recommend it if you are looking for something. But I do say, if you're going to read this, audiobook is key for this book. I found that every single person that didn't like it didn't do the audiobook. So I am choosing to DNF You've Reached Sam. I've managed to make it to the 50% mark, and I'm just not caring enough to want to continue. I thought that I would absolutely love this book. I thought that it would break me, but I haven't shed a single tear. I don't find myself caring about where the story is going. It's just not what I'm in the mood for right now. The writing is not bad. The characters are not bad. I just personally am not feeling this book right now. I don't think I'm going to soft DNF it because I probably will never bother to pick it back up. I think I'm going to actually DNF it and give it to a friend of mine that I know will really love it. So unfortunately, my first DNF of the year. So it was a crazy end to the month. I don't even remember where I left you off, but I ended up finishing 3 books in 3 days. I think I was halfway through telling you my thoughts on a book when I last was updating you, but Addie was interrupting. She's been sick lately, so I really haven't had a chance to give you an update because she's either coughing in the background or crying in the background when I finish a book. So the last book that I think I was talking to you about was Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick, which I did quite enjoy. I don't know if I'm going to finish the series. I mean, I have the whole series and it was a quick read, so I figure I probably will, but I'm not in like a hurry to finish it. But overall, I think I'm probably going to give it like a 3.5 out of 5. And I feel like if I had read it in its time, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. It's definitely not a novel that kind of like ages well, is probably the way that I would word that. But I feel like if I was a teenager now reading it, I would enjoy it a lot more. Next, I finished Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is my first time reading this series. I'm doing a read along with Reading Whenever and the Besties Book Club, which is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading and Kelsey from Books with K, I think is her channel. She's only just started a new channel, but I'll have them all linked down below if you want to go check them out. But and Rainy from Rainy Blue Reads. They are doing the Besties Book Club read along of this, where every second month they read a book. And in January, The Assassin's Blade was the book that we started with. I gave this a 3.5, probably, I don't know, maybe a 3.5 star rating. I feel like it's a good start to this series, and I'm excited to delve further in. And I feel like it will introduce me to some characters that I'm going to enjoy reading about. And I definitely love Sarah J. Maas's writing, so I feel like it is going to be a good time.
So I'm excited to delve further into this. I'm not going to lie, but this as an individual story by itself only gets 3 stars. I did enjoy each novella more and more as it went along, but I feel like the ending made me a little bit angry. I feel like Sam was almost too stupid and that led to his peril. So that was a bit frustrating. Then I finished Heart of the Impaler by Alexander Delaroe. This is a 2-star read. I did not like this at all. I almost DNF'd it. The only reason why I didn't is because I had it playing while I was driving and I couldn't touch my phone to turn the audiobook off. So I just left it playing. Stunning edition. Absolutely love this cover. Love the sprayed edges. Loved the premise. But I feel like it was poorly executed. It had everything that it needed. I just feel like the ingredients were put together incorrectly. So yeah, unfortunately, probably won't bother reading anything else from this author or in this series. I then read the second book in the Witsex series, which I think is called Save Me. Yeah, I think it's Save Me. Yeah, I think it's Find Me, Save Me, Love Me. So Save Me is book 2. I didn't enjoy this as much as book 1. But I did like the fact that this one had a little bit more spice in it than book 1. I do feel like I was left with a little bit less of a cliffhanger. So I still want to read the next book in the series, but I didn't feel like I had to immediately pick up book 3 like I did when I finished book 1. But there you have it. They are the books that I read in the month of February. Not as many as I would have liked, and definitely not the ones I should have read for Ping Pong, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how many books that I have been getting read lately, because my goal for this year was 52. So I'm averaging about a book a week, which is what I need to be doing to reach that goal. So overall, average reading month this month, nothing over the top stood out that I absolutely loved nor hated. Maybe this is my least favorite for the month. This is probably one of my favorites. Although it was only 3 stars, I did really enjoy it and read it quite quickly. So I don't know. Yes, that is my wrap up for February. Make sure you stay tuned because next month I'll be giving you another wrap up like this in the vlog style where I give you my thoughts as I finish. I just had to do like 3 books all at once near the end of this month because I haven't had a chance to sit down and film to give you my thoughts in the moment that I finish, because I either finish in the middle of the night when it's dark or when I'm holding the baby. So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, have a great day and happy reading. Bye.